Good morning from Fast Company. Here's our daily look into what's driving today's creative business leaders. Emily Falk is a professor of communication, psychology, and marketing at the University of Pennsylvania, where she directs the Communication Neuroscience Lab in the Climate Communication Division of the Annenberg Public Policy Center. Her work has been covered in the New York Times, Washington Post, BBC, Forbes, and Scientific American, among other outlets. What's the big idea? Every moment is filled with how we've decided to spend our time, and that time defines us. We make value judgments, often automatically, of our options and follow similar patterns day in and day out. When we decide we want to change in some way, it can be extremely difficult to snap out of our typical decision-making to opt for something else, even if we genuinely care about living differently. By understanding how the brain calculates values to drive daily decisions, we can learn how to explore paths that are more aligned with new goals and evolving self-image. By expanding the power and possibility of our choices, we increase the capacity for inner, societal, and cultural growth. Number 1, our brains shape what we value. Neuroscience research, first in monkeys and then in humans, has shown that a network of brain regions, known as the value system, computes our daily choices in a process called value calculation. This happens whether we're aware of it or not. Each choice we make is first shaped by what options our brain considers. When I imagine choosing between a run or doing extra work, other options like heading to a karaoke bar with my coworkers or going for a walk with my grandma rarely enter the calculation. In the next phase of decision-making, the value system assigns a subjective worth to each choice based on our past experiences, current context, and future goals. Going for a run is hard. It's the end of the day and I'm already tired. Sure, the run would be good for my health, but look how many unread emails there are, so I choose to finish up the emails. After we choose, the value system keeps track of how things went, making us more likely to repeat choices that were more rewarding than we expected, and less likely to repeat choices that were less rewarding than we expected. After choosing the work, my body felt kind of blah, but my students were making progress on interesting problems, and that felt good. The value our brains assign to different options is dynamic and can shift depending on context, like what mood we're in, what other people are saying or doing, and which parts of the choice we pay attention to. Understanding this can help us identify opportunities to change and ways to align choices with our bigger picture goals and values. For me, I knew I needed to find a way to make moving around and spending time with people I love more compelling to my brain in the moment. Number 2, our brains shape and limit who we are. Our sense of who we are is an important factor in shaping our choices. Neuroscientists have identified brain regions that help construct our sense of me and not me. And when we make decisions, this self-relevance is deeply intertwined with the value system. Together, they guide us toward choices that are aligned with our perceptions of who we already are. We tend to favor choices that reinforce our existing identity, sometimes at the cost of new opportunities and experiences. Having a coherent sense of who we are can be useful, but it also limits us. We tend to favor choices that reinforce our existing identity, sometimes at the cost of new opportunities and experiences. When I kept choosing work, my identity as a hardworking researcher who always hits deadlines and invests in mentoring students weighed heavily on my value calculations. I didn't think of myself as an athlete, and in the process, I deprived myself of chances to improve as a runner, dancer, or any number of other options. A mountain of research data shows that I'm not alone in this. Most of us cling to ideas and behaviors we consider ours, a phenomenon called the endowment effect. Sometimes this helps us affirm our core values and reinforce choices that are compatible with longer-term goals, but it can also leave us with a bounded notion of self, meaning that it limits the way we see ourselves. When confronted with evidence that our past behaviors weren't optimal or that others want us to do things differently, it can make us defensive, leading us to double down on past choices, which can make change harder. Number 3, we don't decide alone. Neuroscientists have identified brain regions that help us understand what other people think and feel. The brain's social relevance system helps us connect and coordinate with other people, also shaping the decisions we make. Our sense of what others are doing or thinking strongly affects what we choose, what we're willing to change, and the possibilities we consider. Feeling a sense of status, belonging, and connection serves as a powerful reward, and we often make choices shaped by these forces. When I imagined what other researchers were doing, I imagined them hard at work, making progress, not going for runs or walks with their grandmas. It was important to me to be seen as a serious scientist. When I imagined my collaborators' appreciation of my speedy email replies and my students' gratitude for timely feedback, the decision to keep working made even more sense. Feeling a sense of status, belonging, and connection serves as a powerful reward. But although the social relevance system can help us understand others, it can also mislead us. I was imagining what others would think and feel if I left work, and my social relevance system was very convincing, even though, in reality, I didn't actually know. I had never fact-checked those assumptions. The same can be said when our social relevance system paints such a vivid picture that we feel certain we know why a coworker didn't invite us to lunch or why our spouse is frustrated. By keeping us aligned with others, the social relevance system can do useful things like keep us current on trends, or it can do harmful things like deluding us into agreeing with popular but patently false social media posts. It also shapes what we think is acceptable and desirable regarding whether we should spend a beautiful autumn afternoon at the office or on a jog. Number 4, we can work with our brains to create change. Many of us have been taught that hard work and pain are necessary for achievement. Theodore Roosevelt went so far as to suggest that nothing in the world is worth having or worth doing unless it means effort, pain, difficulty. But neuroscience research highlights that small shifts in how we frame decisions can change our value calculations. My hope is that understanding how this works might make change easier. Our value system serves as the bridge between where we are now and where we want to be, and the self and social relevance systems shape what we value. If we want to change ourselves, the people we care about, or even society, we need to harness these systems and leverage key ingredients for change, such as shifting focus, letting go of defensiveness, and expanding where the inputs to our value calculations come from in the first place. Based on what we know about the brain's value system, we can shift our focus to different aspects of a situation to align our emotions with our objectives. For instance, we can leverage the brain's natural tendency to prioritize immediate gratification to make future-oriented choices feel more rewarding in the present. Instead of choosing between immediate and future rewards, we can find ways to bridge them. And 5, shaping the future starts in our minds. Our choices don't just shape our own lives, they ripple onward, influencing culture and collective values. Research shows that norms are deeply shaped by those around us. Just as observing others influences our value calculations, we serve as role models for the people who see what we do. In this way, our own value calculations influence the people around us. When I share stories about my grandma with my students and colleagues, I'm not just telling them about my family. I'm opening a possibility for them to prioritize spending time with their loved ones. Consciously or unconsciously, our actions change what others value. The way we see ourselves can influence what is possible for others, and what we think is possible shapes the culture of the future.
That's all today from Fast Company. Talk to you tomorrow.
Spoken Layer.